Hello there, welcome to Joy News today. Coming up, the Controller and Accountant General is coming under increasing pressure to review its directive not to pay salaries of public sector workers who do not get national ID numbers by December 1, with a number of worker groups calling for the directive to be quashed. Details as the National Association of Graduate Teachers calls for retraction of the directive and more engagements on the matter. In Takoradi, a circuit court adjourns for 5 weeks case involving woman at the center of the fake pregnancy and kidnapping story. Josephine Mensah. And on the classroom project today, pupils of Breman Jamra DA Basic School intensify their appeal for help to reconstruct their weak school block as hope eludes following unheeded calls.
A lot of crowds are in the building. We feel like not coming to school because how it has been. We don't know the time the building will collapse.
We'll share the story with you and tell you how you can support. We have business, sports, world news, and show business all coming up in this hour. My name is Mama Bioswabwade. Thanks for staying with us. In our first story, the Controller and Accountant General's Department is coming under increasing pressure to review its December 1 deadline for all public sector workers to either get a national ID number or forfeit their salaries this December. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union had kicked against it, insisting the Controller and Accountant General does not have the powers to issue the directive. Minority spokesperson on employment and social welfare, Dr. Kwabena Donko, has also raised concerns. He spoke on Joy News Prime last night.
Young worker on the controller's payroll has a contract of employment. That contract of employment does not involve the production of a Ghana card. And therefore, if administratively we found out that using the Ghana card can help us prevent fraud, which nobody in Ghana wants, if it can help us administer the payroll more efficiently, which we all want, that is a good thing. However, the methodology must also serve the interest of workers. Do all workers have Ghana card now? For those who don't, they now have to go and pay above 200 to obtain a Ghana card. That is fine. I look at the short-term diktat. This is a total diktat, a 3-week period. And I believe it is unfair. The employee at Zabzigu, the employee at Kojobo for the Chamber, who has no Ghana card, cannot have a Ghana card within this period. And therefore, the Controller and Accountant General must leave some of these things, the engagement to elected officials, the Minister for Employment, there's the Minister for Finance. Let them engage with organized, let them sensitize the population as to the need for this, and then we wrote. But you don't issue a diktat and think because you are the Controller and Accountant body wish, even if it is that wish has a time period that is unreasonable.
Is it the case that you've heard from these public sector that they are unable to get this Ghana card, or is your view that there should be an extension of the deadline, or what exactly should it be?
That deadline is a misnomer. It's a poor start. Let the Minister for Employment, the Minister for Finance, and other elected officials, let them engage organized labor. Let them engage other trade union representatives. Let them engage the general public. Sensitize us in sufficient time.
Well, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, also opposes the move. Its president, Angel Kabono, wants the Controller and Accountant General to retract the directive. He also spoke on Joy Prime.
It is unacceptable for the government or the controller to tie anything at all to our salaries. As workers, there is a principle in labor relationship concerning compensation. Compensation is paid based on the work that you have done. Compensation is paid when there is injury to you in the job that you have done. Compensation is paid based on contractual agreement between the worker, which is expressed in the collective agreement. So you don't use the workers' compensation as a bait to push through policies. You discuss policies with workers and find ways and means of letting the workers understand the usefulness of the policy and getting them all on board, rather than coercing workers through force by the use of their salaries and threaten to push through policy by withholding workers' salary.
Well, Head of Public Relations at the Controller and Accountants General's Department, Cephas Adosu, joins us live now with some responses. Mr. Adosu, grateful for your time. Could you explain reasons for this directive?
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I'm sure we discussed on the public notice that was issued by the Controller and Accountant General.
Right.
Okay. If you refer to the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, if you read Section 8, subsection 4, it details the mandates of the Controller and Accountant General's Department. And I want to just dwell on one. The 4C says that the Controller and Accountant General shall keep, render, and, let me rather read the F. It says, shall receive, disburse, and provide secure custody for public funds. So if you look at the first paragraph of the statement that we issued, we said that as part of government efforts to deliver speedy, secured, and verified payroll services to government employees and pensioners, while reducing risks of undeserving payment of claims, the Controller and Accountant General is collaborating with the National Identification Authority to have a harmonized database to facilitate biometric and unique identification of all workers on the Government of Ghana payroll.
Right.
Basically, it is execution of the mandate of providing safe and secure custody of public funds.
Okay, so that's why you're doing this. But do you appreciate the pressure that has come on the National Identification Authority because of the SIM re-registration exercise? So many are already complaining of long queues forming. Many are unable to register for an identification card. Now, the Controller has also come with this directive.
Would you please restate your question again?
So I'm asking if the department is aware, if you do appreciate the kind of pressure that has come on the National Identification Authority because of the SIM re-registration exercise. Basically, you need a Ghana card to do that, and many Ghanaians are trying to get hold of that. Because of that, there's already a lot of pressure in the system. I guess I'm asking, will the Controller and Accountants General Department make it easier in any way for public sector workers who do not have the ID card?
Yeah, I don't think we have made it any difficult for public sector workers to secure their cards. If I do recall, I think yesterday or so, I heard my colleague at an NIA, and among other things, it stated that they have about 34 registration centers and more were being added. So I think that NIA has positioned itself to be able to meet the demands of of all. I just would wish that we would continue to urge each and every one to avail themselves and register and secure the card.
Let me ask you a concern that has strongly been raised by some of the workers, particularly the teacher unions, NATS and NAGRAT. So they say particularly that this is an independent fiat by the department. You have done 0 engagements with them.
I appreciate their concern, but we should also understand that the responsibility of protecting public pets is also on our neck. And I'm sure you also are aware that the issuance of the national identity card did not start from today. And so it is best that we all make an attempt to avail ourselves to secure the cards.
But your directive only came out this week.
Yes, it came out this week. But prior to this, for the past 4 months, Controller has been engaging public sector workers who have been involved in the nationwide training program for the HR and cost center validators. And we kept urging them that you need to sign on to the cards because we are in the process of aligning the two systems.
So having listened to the concerns raised already, do you intend extending the time? Because December 1st is just around the corner. We barely have 2 months.
Well, I think the first thing that we all need to do is that let's avail ourselves and attempt to register. If the deadline given comes up, we can then sit and review the system, review what the situations are, and if there's a need for us to make amends as far as the deadline is concerned, we would. But the letter just came out just this week. We have not even availed ourselves to see whether we could go through the process of registering for the cards. And we're only talking about the fact that the time is too short. I think we should first avail ourselves, register for the cards, then when the time is up, we can do a review and look at the way forward.
Mr. Dosu, even those who want to do the premium service, which is supposed to be fast, spend hours in queues, more than 3 hours sometimes to get hold of the card. So is it just a matter of the time being too short, or it's almost practically impossible?
Are you saying that it's practically impossible to secure the Ghana cards?
So are you saying, for instance, that public sector workers should leave their desk and go and queue for 4 hours maybe just to get hold of the Ghana card?
Well, like I said, the NIA, unfortunately, I don't speak for them, and I would not be in a position to tell other interventions they are putting in place to make sure that they decentralize further the processes of issuing and signing on people onto the cards. But with the little that I've gathered from them, I know that currently they have not less than 34 registration centers, which cuts across the whole country. And they are also extending the same facility also all into all districts. They're opening more avenues. So I'm sure that with the kind of challenge they're encountering, they are aware and they are addressing and repositioning themselves to be able to address the challenge as they can.
So just finally, before we end the conversation, by December 1st, what happens if you don't have the Ghana card?
As it is currently with the statement that we issued, we're saying that if you fail to secure the card, it means that you have not availed yourself to earn your salary. But what I'm saying is that, like Mr. Riley said, there have been concerns. We want to urge all government employees to avail themselves to secure the cards.
So are we saying that the Ghana card, is the Ghana card proof that you've done work so that you deserve to be paid?
Line, we would be able to review the situations and will be informed as to the next line of action to take.
Okay, I was just asking finally that, are we saying that the Ghana card is proof that one has worked and so deserves to be paid?
You see, let me take you through, the fact that systems evolve. And as an institution, what Controller has done over the years is the introduction of many interventions and systems to ensure the sanity and the sanctity of the payroll administration. We have introduced the biometric registration before, which is ongoing. We do what we call the ESPV validation, which is still ongoing. And we cannot say that that is not enough. What we want to do or bring on board is what we call the continuous verification.
Okay.
Continuous verification, not a one-off thing.
All right, sir.
And we believe that the National Education Authority or their database would serve as that purpose.
All right.
So it's the right way to go. I'm sure we are all concerned about protecting the government purse so there will be enough funds to execute other government projects.
All right.
And
we'll have to leave the
I would rather want to urge all of us to come on board to see to the success of this intervention we're putting in place.
We'll have to leave the conversation here.
Finally, I think you misspelled my name. I'm Dosu and not Adosu. It's D-O-S-O. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the correction. That's the Head of Public Affairs at the Controller and Accountants General's Department. Meanwhile, some Ghanaians have lamented the slow process of acquiring the Ghana card as part of their SIM re-registration exercise, which has been characterized by long queues at all centers. Nicholas Ekoyamwa spoke to some of them.
Came here around 5
a.m.
Yes.
Have you been able to register?
No, not yet. Yes. Very difficult because some people will come late, but they will do their own for them. I came here since Monday. I came Monday, Tuesday, today too I'm here. I didn't go to school Monday, Tuesday, today too, just to do the Ghana card.
I came around 3:29 in the morning.
You mean 3:29 a.m.?
Yes, please. When I came, they gave us some numbers. I think it's from 1 to 50. I was number 4, but the person who is supposed to guarantee for me, they said he's not a professional worker, so they will not allow him to voucher for me like how they do it some way. So I'm waiting for someone who will finish, then the person then guarantee for me.
I'll be here for a while. For about 2 hours. I think 3 hours. They said they have already counted them. So unless tomorrow.
I came here exactly 5:30 a.m. I'm vouching for my son. He has not registered. He is in the queue. It's going very slow. Seriously, I don't even know. But can you imagine? This is Ghana, and we're giving numbers, and then the number ended up to 45. But we find people with 58. They were rather ahead of us. So it created a pandemonium. We have to go and then sack those to 58 and 57. Yeah, so that's the issue. So I think as of now, it's going smoothly.
We head to the Western region now, where the Takoradi Circuit Court A, presided over by His Honor Michael Kujo Ampedru, has adjourned the case of Josephine Penyin Mensah, the 27-year-old who allegedly faked a pregnancy and also her kidnapping in Takoradi from 16th of September to... Well, the adjournment is the court has adjourned the case. It follows the unavailability of the prosecution to provide some documents needed to start the case management conference. Lead counsel for the accused, Fifi Bachman, has been speaking to the media after today's hearing.
Us with their documents which they intend to rely on for the trial. The law is that they have to disclose everything they intend to rely on. Their witnesses, their witness statements, the evidences they intend to rely on. So today, they're going to furnish us so that we will see that we have been furnished with these documents. Then we take a date to do our case management conference, or we do the case management conference today. Unfortunately, there are some documents which prosecution need to add. I do not know about that. That is what they told us. And the substantive prosecutor couldn't attend court. So we have to send all the documents back to him to look through because he's doing prosecution so that he comes. So we have taken a date. The documents have been given back to them. They go and look through the documents, and the next time we come on the next agenda date, we come and do the CMC if they serve us before we come to court. If they do not serve us before we come to court and they come and serve us on that day, you have to take another date to go and do the CMC, because we need to go through the documents to see that everything is in order.
So the prosecutor was not in court. Josephine's lawyer was in court. Who else was in court?
Mama V, Josephine herself was in court. Her mother, her husband, and then some relatives were also in court today. The CID handling the case was also in court today, with the exception of the prosecutor you've just mentioned that he wasn't in court. So with the video you are showing, Josephine is the one in pink, with pink and then her face mask. Her mother sits close by her in white, and then the husband is the one seated just on the left side of Josephine. He comes first before Josephine, and then some relatives speak to the media. Right after the court hearing, they all went off. So it was the lawyer Fifi Bachman, who spoke to the media concerning today's proceedings. She looks very fine compared to the previous court hearing when we saw her. You can see from the way she's seated, she looked very fine and healthier than the first court hearing when I personally saw her at the court, and then when I saw her at the Central Police Station about 2 weeks ago.
So what happens in 5 weeks when the court sits on the matter again?
We are expected to go back to court on the 11th of November, yes, 2021. There, lawyer Fifi Bachman was saying that he's sure that by that time, the prosecutor has gotten all the documents that is needed. And then if they are served earlier, then they will continue the case. But if lawyer Fifi Bachman says if himself and then Josephine and the family are not served earlier, then they wouldn't have to adjourn the case again. That is if we go to court on the 11th of November.
And finally, Ina, I know when this case first started, there was a lot of interest. Did we see many people come to the court today to observe the process?
No, Mama V, today wasn't like the first time when we were in court. There were just few people around.
All right. Natalia Kwanzaa will leave it here. That's our Western Regional Correspondent, Natalia Kwanzaa, giving us Now, hope is eluding pupils of Breman Jamrat DA Basic School as help is yet to reach them for the reconstruction of their dilapidated school block, which has become a death trap. The current building in which they study has developed cracks. The roof is leaking and the classroom is overcrowded because of this into one space. One of the pupils could not hold back his frustration as he opens up to Joy News during a visit to the school as part of the multimedia group's classroom projects.
This building has become dangerous and it can harm our life. It has happened before where a lot of people 6 people get died at Midday school. It has made it dangerous for us. Even when we are studying, we are worried because we don't know the time that it will break and kill us. That is why we want the government to help us and construct a new building for us. I think the building can collapse at any time, and it can harm a lot of people. And this one also, and when this happens, it can lead to it can destroy a lot of people's studying and people education. When we are studying in class and we look around ourselves and a lot of cracks are in the building, we feel like even not coming to school because how it has been. We don't know the time the building will collapse and something will happen to us. That is why when we look around ourselves, but we have comfortable in us that we'll achieve our aim and build this building if nobody mind us.
Well, be the miracle this pupil has been waiting for on the classroom project. For all your Momo transactions, the number to contribute is 059 3038832, or you can do that via Access Bank. The account number is 00901010549191. The branch code is 009 and the SWIFT code is ABNGHAC. As a Christian majority in the country serve notice, it will leave no stone unturned in its quest to ensure the anti-LGBTQ plus bill is passed into law. State of Play will this afternoon explore the impending clash between religion and politics. The current anti-LGBTQ bill continues to sharply divide opinion in the country. One group that is raising the stakes on this matter is the faith community. In fact, they have sent a stern warning to the members of parliament that the only acceptable outcome is passing the bill. On their parts, some MPs have attempted to push back, insisting to pressure from the church. Well, this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. on State of Play, our analysts will discuss this controversial issue as the line is now drawn for an impending clash between religion and politics. But first, here's what to expect.
The grouping that is unclear about how they want to show their hand is the majority in Ghana's parliament.
Well, that's a very controversial subject because the Chairman Sabonsu says, well, listen, what do you mean by we are unsure? But there's one thing that for me has become very apparent. This clash between religion and politics. The religious leaders, the clergy, have warned that this time religion won't sit back.
That's true.
The religion will fight back if the political class decide to go against the bill.
In fact, it's almost like for the first time they are setting some dominance. In fact, we are a population, we are 75%, we need to influence policy and you cannot go against us.
Well, this clash will be live on Facebook, on Joy 997 and Joy News. Do make a date, 3:30 p.m. today. You're watching Joy News. Today we'll take you all for the NPP's delegate conference. My colleague Parker Wilson is speaking to some of the delegates.
The General Secretary, distinguished National Party officers, ministers and deputy ministers, colleague members of the Regional Executive Committee, members of Parliament, CEOs and deputy CEOs of state-owned enterprises, Regional Council of Elders and Patrons, newly confirmed MMDCs, our hard-working constituency executives, Tesconites, all members of the Great Elephant Party, fellow invited guests, our friends from the other political parties, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen. Kukrudu.
Well, Parker Wilson joins us from the venue. Parker, explain to us what's been happening all morning. Hello, Parker? Well, I'm afraid we've lost Parker Wilson. He will join us again and fill us in on what's been happening at the NPP's delegate conference. Right now, though, we'll take a breather. We will be back with business.
Hello, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The board chairman of ARB Apex Bank, Dr. Tony Obeng, has made a strong case for the government to allow rural banks to keep statutory funds, which has become the sole responsibility of commercial banks over the years. According to him, like the commercial banks, rural banks are well positioned to also handle the district assembly and MP's common funds. Dr. Obeng was speaking at the 20th anniversary of the annual National Managers Conference of Rural Banks at Kwewu Nketia in the Eastern region.
The conference brought together all chief executive officers and general managers of rural and community banks to deliberate on how successfully they can run their businesses in the face of COVID-19. It was under the theme, Rural Banking Beyond the Financial Sector Reforms and the COVID-19 Pandemic. Dr. Obin noted it was time for government to amend laws to include rural banks in administering statutory funds since they deal directly with their communities as against the high street banks. He stated that community and rural banks were competent and well-trained enough to administer those funds efficiently for the benefit of rural folks.
Those of us in the rural areas, when they need something, they come to the rural bank. They are unable to go to commercial banks because the commercial bank must go to the headquarters in Accra. And in Accra, they don't remember One Tram. They don't know the village of One Tram or something. So please, let us look at that you're now very close, or you are, inching towards the high street banks. So you'll be expected to behave and to perform at the quality level of those banks.
The paramount chief of Koo traditional area, Dasibre Ekwamwa Ejapon, who chaired the occasion, reiterated calls for a downward review of corporate income tax for rural banks from the current 25% to 15%. Corporate income tax went up from 8 to 25% in 2016. Dasibre Ekwamwa Ejapon says a reduction will boost the bank's investment rates and liquidity formation.
RCBs invest quite substantially in the local economy of the country. I know they have made several pleas and representations to the Bank of Ghana and the government to consider reducing their corporate income tax from 25% to 15%. I wish to add my voice and the endorsement of Nanano to this humble plea by the RCBs for the government through the governor, Dr. Addison, and the Ministry of Finance to consider reviewing the corporate income tax downwards.
Well, from the eastern region to the Ashanti region, where 40 unemployed women are expected to be trained in the development of mobile applications. The initiative by Startup Hub, Women's Haven Africa, is expected to reduce the level of unemployment in the region and empower young women. Organizers are positive the project will create job opportunities for young unemployed women and expand ICT literacy, especially amongst women in the region. There's more in this report.
Officials at Women Haven Africa are worried about few women in the tech space. The hub believes the project will create and gradually close the gender gap in the area of technology and ICT development. Adjoa Fosua Ousu Ofori is the founder and CEO of Women's Haven Africa.
Startups are going to receive training in mobile app development, and then some would be incubated to be able to create jobs for themselves, and others will also be matched with already existing companies for internship opportunities. At the end of it all, we want to promote more women in tech, and especially to see how women can be empowered in digital transformation.
40 unemployed women are undergoing mobile development training as a solution. Participants will gain knowledge in building mobile apps that will be relevant in solving problems of startups. Career coach Dr. Samuel Tineje is urging startup companies to invest in producing a functional app. He spoke to Joy News on the sidelines of a consultative stakeholder meeting organized in Kumasi.
There are so many mobile apps already in the system, so your app should really be functional. Emphasis on functional, so functional practicality, right? So that it becomes a part of the people's lives. You wouldn't want just your app being there and not being used. It's not productive. So your app, the ideation for the app should be really done well.
The mobile app development project was organized by Women's Haven Africa in collaboration with Ghana Tech Lab. Anita Sewa Ajoga's report read to you.
And well, here's what's coming up later today on Joy Business Social, our weekly online engagement. We are discussing cyber attacks and how businesses can protect themselves against these attacks. And so we are having Alexander Opong, awareness creation and capacity building. He's in charge at the Cybersecurity Authority. We also have Adam Glyman, CEO of Global Secure Solutions, to discuss cyber attacks, how to protect your business, tonight at 6 on Joy Business Social across our social media platforms. Do make a date. Up next, sports.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdulai. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Hussein, has tasked the new board of the National Sports Authority, chaired by Seth Panwum, to reposition sports in the country to become a viable entity. Speaking to Joy Sports after inaugurating the board, Hussein said sports must be seen beyond recreation. Mr. Panwum is a former general manager of Wa All Stars, now Legon Cities. He is also the technical advisor to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. He leads a 15-member board that includes a member of the now defunct Normalization Committee, Na Odofole Norte, President of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Ben Nunu Mensah, President of the National Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean, and many others. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Usif, has tasked him and his board to restructure Ghana sports beyond recreation.
The National Sports Authority, as you know, have a law, an act that regulates the authority. So the responsibilities are there, but as a minister, I also have a vision of transformation of the sports sector. And in my address to them, I told them that the whole sports ecosystem have to be looked at. We need to look at the sports ecosystem to ensure that we position sports as an economic driver. Because sports should be seen as a business enterprise, but we should not be seen as a game just for happiness. But just as it will bring us together, bring social cohesion and unity among communities and people, we should also see it as a business of job creation. Sports itself should be a vehicle for job creation, also a wealth creation, and people should be able to cap off businesses and enterprise within sports.
Recently, questions have been raised about the standard of Ghana's sporting facilities. Usif revealed to Joy Sports one of the responsibilities placed on Mr. Panwum and his team is to ensure that the country's sporting facilities are up to international standard.
Currently, as we speak, work is ongoing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi and also the Ohinijan Sports Stadium here in Accra, Esipon in Takoradi, secondary Takoradi. Yes, so currently renovation works have started, and we are making sure that we bring all our sporting facility infrastructure to a standard, international standard. The Baba Yara Sports Stadium, for instance, the athletic tracks, we are using Mondo, and we have also gotten the World Athletic Federation experts to make sure that they plant the Mondo and ensure that it is satisfied for every athletic sporting competition in the world, so that it can be used to host qualification events and international events.
Seth Panwum replaces Kwajo Ba Ajiman, who chaired the board between September 2017 and December 2020. Meanwhile, Seth Panwum says for sports to attain its potential, it requires the right investment.
Excellency and you, that the tenure of the new board will be a period of inspiration and hope. With the support of the ministry, the board and the management, we will pursue a vigorous strategy to grow the authority by developing our capacity and relying on our existing infrastructure to make National Sports Authority not only effective and efficient, but also attractive to the private sector for investment. You will agree with me, Honorable Minister, that modern-day living is not only complex, but stressful. Hence, we in sports believe that sports has the power to change lives for the better and can bring communities together to enhance the quality of life for the Ghanaian, but with the right investment to achieve that. If we are to fully optimize sports as a vehicle to support the implementation of national priorities, then we need to appropriately invest in sports, collaborate and coordinate the efforts of both the private sector and the public sectors. I believe in the collective wisdom of members of the board, and with the combined support and assistance from the ministry, the authority will make a significant progress under my leadership of this board.
That is sports for now, but we do have more sports on myjoyonline.com/sports, and the lead story has to do with the Ghana Football Association writing to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, indicating to them that CK Akono is due $50,000 compensation fee for the decision of the Executive Council to terminate his contract somewhere last month. Thanks very much for your company.
This is Joy News. Today, let's bring you some rather unfortunate story. Former Minister for Aviation, Joseph Kofi Adda, is dead. According to reports, Mr. Adda had taken ill shortly after he returned to Accra from a trip to Navrongo. Sources say the former Navrongo Central Member of Parliament was rushed to the hospital for medical attention. The 65-year-old later died in the early hours of Thursday, October 14. Kofi Adda first became a legislator in 2003 after winning the Navrongo parliamentary seats in the by-election. This was after the death of the then incumbent and subsequently retained his seat in the 2004 general elections. May his soul rest in peace. Well, on that sad note, we end Joy News today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mama View. So on behalf of the production team, we thank you for your company.